Hey guys, welcome back to lesson number 2. In this one, we're going to be understanding the major scale. Now, to understand the major scale correctly, we need to firstly understand what semitones and tones are. So if you guys have got a copy of my book, we're going to be working from page number 5. If you haven't yet, make sure you go get one from www.NXISEWOLF.com. I'll also slap the link down in the description below. So what is a scale? Well, a scale is essentially a bunch of notes that just harmonically work well together. Scales are important because we need to be in a specific scale or a specific key when we're producing our music. That's all it is. All right, they're just a bunch of notes that just work really well together. So that being said, let's move on to those tones and semitones. So let's start off with semitones. Semitones are the smallest intervals in Western music. Essentially, to find any semitone, you can just go up or down to the closest note. So for example, if we are on the key of, say, C, and if we go a semitone up, it's going to be a C sharp. Or if we're again on the key C and we go a semitone down, it's going to be the next note down, which in this case is a B. All right, let's have a look at this in a different place. Let's go to a G. Well, a semitone up from G is a G sharp, and a semitone down from G is a F sharp or a G flat. Okay, so that's relatively simple to understand. So what's a tone then? Well, a tone is literally two semitones put together. So instead of going to the closest note, we want to go one above that. So let's go to C. Well, we know a semitone above C is a C sharp. Now let's add another semitone away from a C sharp. Well, that's a D. And let's go in the other direction. A semitone below the C is the B, as we previously said. Now another semitone below that is a B flat or an A sharp, and that is a tone away from the C. And we can actually take this to anywhere on the keyboard. Again, let's go to G. A tone up from G is going to be two semitones up from G. So that's going to be an A. And a tone down from G is going to be an F. Hey guys, I only have a limited amount of spaces left for those that want one-to-one Ableton live lessons via Zoom, where I teach production, engineering, music theory, and so much more. So if you're struggling and you're looking for a more of an individually structured learning process, you can send me an email to lessons@NXISEWOLF.com, or better yet, shoot me a message actually on Instagram or Facebook Messenger, and we can discuss a custom roadmap for your learning. Links will be down in the description below. All right, now that we've covered semitones and tones, how does that directly relate to scales, in this case, the major scale? Well, in order to create a major scale, there is a formula, and that formula consists of a pattern of tones and semitones. And the formula goes like this: tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Or another easy way you can remember it is TTS, TTTS. Or I sometimes teach my students in like one-to-one Zoom sessions that it's easy to remember if you just say 2 T's and an S, 3 T's and an S. So now that we've got this formula, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, we can actually apply it to create the major scale. So the first scale we're going to be having a look at is going to be the C major scale. Now let's put our thumb on C and let's have a look at the formula I've just told you. TTS, TTTS. Let's break that in half and let's just concentrate on the first TTS. So our thumb is currently on C. I want you to do this with me. Your thumb is currently on C. Now, what we're going to do is, it's really important not to put your thumb on C and say tone. We only want to say tone when we are moving. So thumb on C, what is a tone away from C? A D. Good. Now what's a tone away from a D? An E. Now what's a semitone away from an E? An F. So that's the first half of tone, tone, semitone done. Now we've got 3 T's and an S left. So what's a tone away from an F? A G. A tone away from a G? An A. Another tone away from an A? A B. And lastly, a semitone away from a B, we are back to our C. And that there is what we call a full octave. That is 1 octave going from C to C. So that there is the golden formula to create any major scale. So if you take that same formula, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, and change the root note, so change your starting position, let's change it to, for example, G, and apply the same tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, that will give us the G major scale. If we change the root again and then maybe applied it to, say, an A, for example, and we applied that same formula, again, that will be our A major scale. So it's only one formula of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone to create literally all 12 major scales. So that's it for this lesson. Let's move on to lesson number 3.